Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners that have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And what I want to get into today, is having an above way of thinking. All right, and this doctrine, all right, this gospel, is above, this society. All right, because the way that people think in the earth, all right, is very, very, minute. When you compare it to the gospel. And speaking of the tribes, you Israelites, the way you Israelites think of success and prosperity, is very minute when you compare it, to the gospel. It's a very, below way of thinking. That's why Yahweh Shai, when he made this statement, he was speaking of the mindset, his mindset compared to the mindset of the scribes and Pharisees who, were put up, within the Roman society. They was well off, because they was put in, because when you go into the history, all right, of the Pharisees, their office became like a political office. Basically you were like a religious leader, in Israel, and their office came with different perks, within the Roman Empire, and Jake was satisfied and, content with being in their position, so much so, they had the mindset to get rid of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai, they looked at Yahweh Shai as a threat to their position. Matter of fact, before I get that, I believe that's in John 11 and 48, get to the point. It says, now this is Caiaphas, the high priest, which he would be the one, that will have, the most rank, amongst Israel. And that's why, he was really, offended, with Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai came, with a mindset of authority. He made the statement, no man can come through the Father but by me. You can see, all right, Caiaphas being very offended, because he was trumping, all right, Yahweh Shai was pulling rank, in their old priesthood. Now, when you go to St. John 11 and 48, it says, if we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. You see, will take away our place and nation. So these Pharisees, all right, these wicked Pharisees, man, was really concerned about their particular little positions that they had in the Roman Empire, man. Which was a low-level way of thinking, because the Bible, the gospel, the good news speaks about sovereignty, man, which we're going to get into. So let's get St. John 8 and 23. And this is why Yahweh Shai said what he said, because he knew the mindset that these men had. They was thrilled, to have these little offices, which they was low level. They were below Pilate, and Pilate, he had to answer somebody. Then he would answer to Caesar, So they were way down the totem pole as far as rank in the earth, man. You see? But the scriptures speak about sovereignty, man, being above these nations. Now, when you go to St. John 8 and 24, it says, I said therefore unto you that ye shall start 23. So like St. John 8 and 23, and he said unto them, you are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, all right, or of this society. I am not of this world. Yeah, so that's why the scriptures talk about the gospel, being foolish to the masses of our people, because this is a doctrine that's not of this society, and if something's speaking, if I'm talking and it's above your head, man, you're going to think it's foolishness, man. All right, if you walk into a room, of rocket scientists, and they're talking about, physics and equations, projectile and trajectory, and they're talking all this language, it's going to sound like foolishness, because why? It's above our mindset. Like, that's above, what we can conceive, So this doctrine, it's gonna sound foolish, you know, to the masses because it's above what they can conceive. Because our people have been beaten down, all right, to the point where they're satisfied with just being a privileged slave, man. All right. So you go to 1 Corinthians 1:18. It said, "For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness." Yeah, those that perish because why? It's above their head. It's not given unto them to know the mysteries of what? The kingdom. And what is the kingdom? A king's domain. So really, they don't understand the mystery of sovereignty. You know, when you break it down. You see, they don't understand the mystery of the sovereignty that the Bible promises to a particular lineage, all right, according to their fathers, man. You know, and it's going to be an eternal, you know, sovereignty, man. You see? And since our people can't get it, you know, they look at it as foolishness, man. You know, it said, "But unto us which are saved, it is the power of the Most High." Yeah, because Yahweh Bashim Al Shah is finna showcase his power by how he promotes his people in the earth. That will be a great showcase of power. That's why he has allowed us to be so low, you know, and so weak, you know, under our enemies, because he's finna showcase great power in the earth, man. You know, by exalting us, you know, to these positions of rulership, man. So his word is a power unto us, man. All right. Then that's why he say, "You are from below, I'm from above." All right. The way you think and the way I think is totally different, man. You know, and it lines up with the narrative of the Bible all the way through. When you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 13. Now this is going into, you know, the perks, you know, of us being obedient. Which when Yahweh Shah returns, we're going to get those new bodies where we're programmed to be obedient and righteous. You see, and within it, all right, there comes perks and benefits, man. You know. And it says, this is Deuteronomy 28:13, "And the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shah shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath." You see that? So the Most High, he has a above way of thinking for his people, man. You know, Jake had developed, you know, that low level mentality, all right, under these Romans, under these Edomites, man. And it's the same thing today. You know, a nigga thinks prosperity comes through a car, you know, a house, you know, used women, you know. They look at that as some type of prosperity. No, man. All right, you're just a peasant, you know, with more privilege, man. You know. And it says, "And if thou hearken unto the commandments, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, thy power which I command thee this day to obey, to this day to observe and to do them," man. You know, so obedience comes with perks. And see, we're gonna come back into all those perks, you know, and rulership is the main perk of obedience to Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man, you know, for the nation of Israel. All right, so let's go to another one, Deuteronomy. Let's get Deuteronomy 15 and Deuteronomy 15. All right, and 5, just reiterating the point. All right, Deuteronomy 15:5, it says, "Only if thou carefully hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, thy power to observe to do all these commandments which I command thee this day, for the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, thy power, bless thee as he promised, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee." You see that? So the Most High always has intention for his people to reign over other nations, man. But see, all Jake wants to talk about is being what? Equal, you know, equality. No, the scripture doesn't speak about equality with Israel and these other nations, man. The scripture say we're gonna be above only. All right, the scripture say we're gonna reign over, all right, these other nations. I think this the word mashal, all right, which goes into, you know, government as well. It says to rule, to have dominion, all right, to exercise dominion, man. So the scripture talk about dominion. And what is a kingdom? A king's domain, all right, the territory that king rules. All right, so reigning, all right, the kingdom is talking about reigning in the earth, man. You see? But I say all Jake wants to talk about is equality. And when Jake talk about equality, they're not speaking, all right, they're not speaking of being equal with the elites, or the upper echelon of Esau. They just want to be equal with the middle class, upper middle class of Esau. When you hear Eve talking about, I want a high value man, he need to be this and that. No, they just want a Jake that has middle class, well, really upper middle class resources, man. All right, they want a Jake that has upper middle class resources when they speak about high value, man. They just want a Jake that lives like the upper middle class Edomite. That's what they're speaking of. That's what our people want to be equal to, man. They'll be content with it. All right, a nigga be satisfied with that. If Esau made all you Israelites upper middle class, you niggas will be content eternally, man. But that's why the elect, all right, are not of this world, are not of this society. We develop a whole complete different mind frame, man. All right, we want to own people now. Because people are the greatest human resource. That's what we want to own. It's an above way of thinking, and the scriptures support that, man. You get Psalms 2:7. It says, I will declare the decree. The Lord Yahweh Shem Al Shai has said unto me, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Yeah, and it's speaking to Yahweh Shai. Ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for the inheritance. All right, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. You see, the scriptures talk about sovereignty and owning people. Really reigning over other nations, man. Not black economics. All right, not let's rebuild Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's a very below way of thinking, man. No, man, the scriptures speak about pure sovereignty, true sovereignty for the whole nation, man, beginning with that governing body. All right, Yahweh Shai, the throne of David. That's a whole nother way of thinking. When you start talking about that, that's a whole nother way of thinking. That's a whole nother mindset that's above the majority of the mindset of our people, man. All right, and the scriptures, like I say, the scriptures reiterate these things, man. I believe that's yep. This is Isaiah 54:3. It says, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand, on the left. Yeah, and this is in the kingdom, all right, when we're going to have that sovereignty where we can be fruitful and multiply, man. All right, we're going to have the resources, all right, to be a prosperous, all right, nation, man. We have those new bodies, you see, so it's going to be a lot of multiplying in the kingdom, man. You see? But now you have the modern woman. You ask her if she wants to have kids, she say maybe, or one or two, but a woman's glory is to bear children, man. And then the kingdom is going to get back to that, man, because why? You're foreign in your nation, man. All right, a woman's glory is supposed to be to bear children for the men of her nation. You see, but the kingdom is going to get back to that. Now we ain't in time for that now, We definitely not in time with that now, especially with the options, that's out there, the mother candidates that's out there, but in the kingdom, we're going to get back to that, man. Why? Because that's a below way of thinking for a woman to put her career over being a mother and a wife. That's a below way of thinking. You see, there's a content slave. You see, it said, for thou shalt break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thy seed shall inherit the Gentiles and make the desolate cities to be inhabited. You see, so the scriptures go into owning people, ownership of the heathens, man. All right, it constantly reiterates that. Let's get another one. Our children are going to inherit, the children of our slaves, man. That's what we coming into, man. Real human resource, because to the least, everyone else is a human resource, man. These different militaries, these are resources for the elites, man. Us working on these jobs, you a resource for the elites. All right, and how you a human resource and you a slave? Because what you got to come back to. Because I don't care what type of job you got. All right, you go on vacation, you go over a week, a month. Guess what? Eventually you got to report back to that job. All right, LeBron, He can go, well, what about LeBron now? Well, that nigga can go on vacation for some months at a time, but guess what? When the season starts, he got to bring his big head ass back, all right, to the gym. I don't care how many hundreds of millions of billions he got to report back to work, man. You see? And so, our people, all right, they have this mentality as if they have achieved so much, but they ain't with nowhere. Because all these niggas that's billionaires, you know, niggas got hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, they ain't nothing but one divorce, you know, one scandal, you know, and a couple lawsuits from being broke, man. You know? These niggas ain't went nowhere. They have nothing built up here, man. It's just a delusion, all right, of a progression, man. You know? Now this is Isaiah 45 and 14. It said, "Thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai." It said, "The labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine, and they shall come after thee, and change they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee, and they shall make supplications unto thee, and they shall it said they shall make supplications unto thee, saying, Surely the Most High is in thee, and there is none else, and there is no power." Yeah, because this is talking about who? These Hamites, man. All right. It said they're gonna come after thee in chains, which means what? They're gonna be a possession. You know, and they're gonna be in complete servitude. That's another thing. Jake is not about having these nations in servitude. Now he's about oppressing his brother, you know, putting hell on his brother, but he doesn't have that mind frame towards the other nations. Why? Because they got a below way of thinking, man. All right. Jake will try to ruin, you know, another Jake. All right. But Jake will not, all right, put his hands towards anything that these other nations got going, man. All right, Jake support the other nations, man. You see? But see, in the kingdom, man, we gonna have that. We developing that mindset now. You know, even you sisters, man, you're seeing you're seeing the value in you playing your role as a woman. You're seeing that now within nation building, man. You know, and the man is seeing his value now. You know, and serving Yahweh Bashem Shai. You see? We're getting back into that above way of thinking, man. You know? And once you think above, now, like I said, your desires change, man. You see? Now your desires change. What you want is far above than what the biggest nigga in this society, all right? We have a mind frame that's way above a Jay-Z or Mayweather. That's way above a 50 Cent or, all right, whoever the, you know, supposed to be the top huncho nigga these days, man. All right, we have a way of thinking. The least brother in the truth, you know, that might got a job at a grocery store. You know, a brother might be in 9th grade, you know, but he's part of the elect. He has a mind frame that's way above the top nigga in this society, man. You know, by what, man? Belief in the gospel and being conformed unto Yahweh Shai. All right. So we coming into a time where, you know, we finna be upgraded to a level. We finna be promoted to a status that we can't fathom, and our body's gonna be upgraded, you know, to a form that we can't even fathom, man. You know, Jake ain't, you know, you call them Egyptologists, man. They don't, you know, they not really into all that madness they believe, man. You know, it's just a gimmick. You see, but we really know we gonna be gods in the earth, man. You know, the men of Israel gonna be gods in the earth, man. Spiritual power, you know, that's an above way of thinking. It'll sound foolish, you know, to the masses, all right, of our people, but it's supposed to, man. You know, but to us, we know it's the power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, you know. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, you know, just how, you know, we have an above way, we have developed an above way of thinking through Yahweh Bashem Shai, you know, through this gospel, by being, you know, molded and groomed by this word, man. We, you know, elevated, you know, our desires, man. You see? So Lord will you brothers and you few sisters edify. Till the next time I say shalom.